Yo, what's cracking everyone? Ericship 111 here. So IGN just dropped 8.5 minutes of raw, uncut Forza Horizon 6 gameplay. No commentary, no filter, just the game, and the reaction from the community has already been divided. If you've spent any time in the official Forza Discord, you know exactly what I mean. The discussions have been a little chaotic. On one hand, it's very clear that Playground Games and Turn 10 Studios have built something very impressive. The world design alone already shows a lot of promise, but the way in which the footage was presented, especially as a world first exclusive from IGN, has left many who were initially excited about the game with more questions than answers. And those questions are exactly what we're going to be breaking down in today's video. Now, to understand why this reveal carried so much weight, you have to remember what us, the Horizon community, have been sitting on for the past several months. Forza Horizon 6 was first teased during Tokyo's game show all the way back in September of 2025. After that, for 4 months straight, there was nothing but complete silence until January of 2026, where Playground Games and Turn 10 Studios finally gave us our first proper look at Horizon 6 during the Xbox Developers Direct, which was a brilliant showcase. But as always with any AAA title reveal, we wanted to see more. We wanted to know how Horizon 6 Japan actually looks without all of the PR polish, and that's where IGN's exclusive reveal comes in. Because when they drop almost 9 minutes of uninterrupted gameplay, the question wasn't just does the game look good, but also why it was chosen to be shown like this. Right, let's get into the actual gameplay, and I want to start with what was genuinely incredible, and that's the map. What Playground Games and Turn 10 have built here is nothing short of astounding. You can see just how much work has gone into this, from the different environments, the massive road network which you can see glimpses of in the minimap, the different varieties of road types, the foliage density. Like, my goodness, how many trees are there on the countryside hills? How on earth will the Eliminator work now? Who knows, but I'm interested to find out, as well as the elevation changes. Proper, dynamic, sustained changes that Horizon 5 Mexico never had. But the one thing that truly impressed me was the sheer scale of the map. You cannot artificially manufacture size. Remember, this is all unedited gameplay. It's just the car driving around Forza Horizon 6's map. What you're seeing is all entirely real, and we haven't even seen all of the other locations like the snowy alpine regions yet. I mean, what else does this map have to offer? This gameplay also gave us our first look at Tokyo City and its surrounding expressway network, something both Playground Games and Turn 10 have been very quiet about. I'm not sure exactly as to why, perhaps they were saving it for IGN's exclusive coverage, but we finally get to see parts of it in this raw gameplay, and again, it does look good. The one shot that immediately sold me on Tokyo City and its size was at 6 minutes and 34 seconds. You can see just how big the urban area is, and when we compare that directly to Horizon 5's Guanajuato, and keep in mind I'm a lot closer in this clip, there's literally no comparison. While Tokyo actually has a proper skyline that entices you to want to explore the city, Horizon 5's Guanajuato, you wouldn't even know the city even exists unless you are almost there. Another small detail that I'm sure many of you picked up on in Tokyo City was the petrol stations. Japan has a lot of petrol stations scattered across the entire country, and to see at least 2 in Tokyo was a nice little touch. The last time we saw petrol stations in a Horizon title was back in Forza Horizon 3 Australia. Now, you're probably asking, will these serve any real function? And my answer is no. They're purely cosmetic, simply to make the environment feel more authentic. Which then brings me to the expressway network. Again, super impressed. I like that the width of the roads here are quite realistic. We can even see iconic landmarks such as the Rainbow Bridge in the background, which by the way looks like it'll host a street racing event called the Rainbow Bridge Descent for anyone who missed it. You can definitely tell some of the multi-layered road foundations built upon Horizon 5's Hot Wheel expansion is on full display here, which is very cool to see. The long stretches of highway driving from the urban area out into the countryside region, again, very realistic. I remember driving on these roads at the speed limit while I was in Japan, and after a while, you kind of want to put your foot down because it does get a little boring, which was ironically simulated pretty well in this gameplay. And lastly, one more detail I do want to point out from the vehicle, which has improved from previous Horizon games, are the exhaust fumes that puffs out after the backfire. I know it's very difficult to see in this gameplay, but rest assured once we get our hands on this game with our own setup, this will be a detail that all of us will notice. Now, I will go into more detail of things I noticed in my next video, most of which are exciting and positive, so make sure you are subscribed to my channel to stay tuned. Look, I want to be very clear, everything that I said, I truly mean. The map is extraordinary, the Tokyo comparison speaks for itself, and Japan was definitely the right decision. But this video wouldn't be honest if I didn't talk about why the community is divided as of right now, because the reveal itself, well, that's a completely different conversation. So the biggest thing we all noticed was just how dead the gameplay looked. Everyone noticed this, including myself, and although at the very bottom of the video it says pre-release in-game footage, given how close we are to the release date of Horizon 6 and the lack of context prior to the footage, yeah, I can understand why many players are concerned, because this highly anticipated gameplay reveal, as I said in the beginning of this video, has a lot of weight behind it, as us, the Horizon community, have been waiting since September of 2025 for this exact moment. And given how this reveal was promoted on IGN's social media, I was under the impression that we would get 9 minutes of the full game, or at least to what they have built up until this point, which should be near complete anyways, being showcased as if we were playing through the game ourselves. Instead, what we got was an environmental reveal with traffic density turned all the way down with NPCs turned off. And the most frustrating thing here is that the driving footage was slow anyways. They could have achieved the same clean environmental showcase without turning any of the traffic down. It would have added so much more to the atmosphere and given the community a far more realistic impression of how this game is actually going to feel to play. The reveal missed the mark so badly that Torben Ellert, the senior game designer for Playground Games, had to personally jump onto the official Forza Discord server to clarify that the traffic density was deliberately turned down for the showcase. And while some did take this into consideration, this statement just ended up being buried upon the many other things that were said in the Discord server, which also led to another Turn 10 developer making an official announcement on the traffic concerns. Now, IGN themselves got a lot of flack for this because everyone thought this gameplay footage was recorded directly from them, but after their latest video discussing about the Forza Horizon 6 gameplay reveal, which was uploaded just a few hours ago, based on what was said, it seems like it was Playground Games and Turn 10 that sent the footage to IGN for them to upload, which makes this even more concerning because now everything that we saw was approved by the developers first, thinking this was the perfect footage as their first gameplay exclusive reveal. So apparently, according to Luke Riley, who is a racing game journalist over on IGN, he said that the original footage Playground Games showed behind closed doors was something similar, driving from the south through to the different biomes, to the fringes of the city, all the way to one of the racetracks at the end. But in the cover car, the GR-GT prototype. And in this video that we saw was trying to emulate that with the traffic turned down, but also in a 2017 Celine S7 LM, which even Luke Riley was surprised about the car choice. I mean, why are we seeing a car that's already featured in Horizon 5 and Forza Motorsport used as a gameplay reveal? There's over 100 confirmed cars in Horizon 6 right now, many of which would have been far better suited for the Japanese setting, yet Playground Games and Turn 10 chose a silver Celine. Now, I'm not saying that the car itself is bad, but for a world first exclusive gameplay reveal, even the Maserati MC20 would have been a far more inspiring choice. So, going back to the gameplay, there were things I noticed that some are perhaps worried about, including one of the traffic cars sliding in the wrong direction. You can see here, driving up this rounded bridge, the Pajero is literally facing the wrong angle. And if we are already seeing some issues with the traffic density turned all the way down, I mean, what's going to happen when it turns back to default? Are there going to be more traffic cars with bugs that needs heavy polishing before release? Again, please understand that I'm well aware that this is all pre-release in-game footage, but it's still important to point out so that the developers are aware if they are even watching this video. Next is the road width. Now, on the expressway, as I said, the width of each lane is very good. But when it comes to some of the countryside roads, yeah, even I have to admit, it's a little wide in some of the locations. Now, this isn't that big of an issue for myself because I've conceded to the idea that the Horizon series is a racing game that caters for everyone. As awesome as it would be to have much tighter roads, there will be a lot of players who maybe aren't as skilled that need that extra road width to drive fast around the countryside without crashing, which is totally fine. But in saying that, when you can place 6 active trucks on a 2-lane street, it is a little egregious. But that's baked into the game now and can't be changed regardless if this is pre-release footage or not. Who knows, maybe there are many narrow roads that Playground Games and Turn 10 just decided not to show. And then of course we have the decision to capture all of the footage on 30 frames per second. Now there are many reasons as to why this might be the case. Perhaps all of this was recorded on the Xbox Series X on quality mode, which based on previous Forza titles means that it will output the gameplay at 4K but at only 30 frames per second. And considering the sole reason for this reveal was to showcase the environment, maybe they wanted more graphical fidelity over frame rates. Another reason could be perhaps the game isn't fully optimized for a buttery smooth 60 frames per second on performance mode or even on PC. Pre-release builds often carry significant overheads that gets cleaned up in the final weeks before launch. Either way, 30 frames per second for racing game reveal in 2026 was always going to get noticed. Now, whether or not that reflects on what the final product will look and feel like, at this moment, we can't exactly say, but do keep in mind that this is the biggest map that Playground Games and Turn 10 has ever built, and Tokyo does rather look dense. I'm not making excuses for the developers, just something to keep in mind for now. So where do I stand after the world exclusive gameplay reveal? Look, the map is incredible. I can't wait to explore Tokyo City myself. What Playground Games and Turn 10 have built is genuinely incredible, and if we look past all of the hiccups from the gameplay, I still believe this will be the best Horizon game ever. However, this reveal itself did not do the game any justice, and I think deep down, even the developers know that themselves, hence why IGN did a follow-up video as well as 2 developers over on Discord directly addressing the community's concerns. As of right now, Playground Games and Turn 10 have an uphill battle to fight, but with IGN scheduled to release more footage throughout the month of March, all we need to see is some of the Horizon Festival, the full environment with all of the traffic and NPC set to default, maybe a couple of unique races, and I can guarantee all of those concerns would disappear overnight. Unfortunately, this is not up to me. Anyways, what did you guys think about the reveal? Are you still excited about Forza Horizon 6, or did the reveal shatter some of your excitement? or perhaps you're waiting for more gameplay. I don't know, share us all of your thoughts down in the comment section below, as I do read all of your comments. But anyways, if you guys did enjoy today's video, please make sure to smash the thumbs up button, as it really does help me out. And of course, if you guys would like to stay up to date with everything Forza Horizon 6 related, be sure to subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.